Hello guys, my name is Christopher Tapia, and I'm doing a tutorial on how to set up GitHub with Unity. Unity, which you could download at this site, and after that's finished downloading, go to github.com and create an account. After that's done, make sure you download the Windows client, which we will be using, at the bottom of the site, which looks like this. Once you log in, it will look like this. Now, GitHub is a version control method, which pretty much means it's a backup. You work on something for a long time and maybe you mess up on one thing in the file, you can always go back to an old version because that's what it keeps revisions of multiple files. And if you work with a large group, they could also work in their own files because they have different branches. Now, we keep those files in a repository, which we will create right now. So at the top of the site, top right, you click on the plus sign and you click on New Repository. You create a name for this repository, which you can name anything, which I call it tutorial example 2 public. You can't choose private because for private you need to pay for that, which pretty much means that if it's public, anybody can see the repository on github.com. If you don't want people to see that, then you might want to pay. Now for the checkbox next to initialize, is up to you if you want to choose that or not, but I would choose that. For the git ignore, a drop down comes out and you can select Unity to do this. Which means a get ignore means that it ignores files that you don't want it backed up to the repository, files you just want to keep on a local system. The only files that would be saved to a repository are assets and project folder settings. So we click on create repository. Now, repository is created. You have the get ignore and you have the readme.file. Now you don't see the project folder for your Unity because we haven't connected it yet. Now you need to drag this repository by clicking the URL here and drag it to the Windows client that we have. Drag and drop. A pop-up window comes up. You leave it on GitHub choice. Click OK. Now, the repository is in the client now, which is the initial commit. Now, if you go to your documents folder and you click on GitHub, you will see that your repository name is in here, and it's called, and you'll see only git ignore and readme. You still won't see the file for Unity yet. So in order to do that, you need to go back to your documents, look for your project folder name from Unity, copy that, go back into your GitHub folder, click on the repository name, and paste. Okay. Now go back to your window client, and you will see that uncommitted changes are made. It hasn't been put into the repository. So you click on show, you name the summary, change, or whichever way you want. And in description you can describe it. If you're working with a large group, this is a good idea. And you commit to master. Now the repository is not still in the repository. It's not synced. That's why it says unsynced changes here. So you click up here on the right corner of the Windows client. You click on sync. You let that sync. Now it's in the repository, and now you're set up for GitHub. That's all you got to do pretty much. Now version control method is always a good idea to have when you're working with source code or game files or large groups. It's always best practice to use this. So I hope this helps and enjoy.